Hi, this is Randy Randall of No Age and host of the podcast Hyphenate with Randy Randall. I want to welcome our newest sponsor of the show, DistroKid. DistroKid helps musicians get their music on all the major streaming platforms, and artists keep 100% of their royalties. Hyphenate listeners get 30% off at distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate. Again, that's distrokid.com/VIP/HYPHENATE. Go get your music streaming everywhere now. What's happening? Welcome to Hyphenate with me, Randy Randall, for Monday, August 19th. My co-host, Mr. Aaron Farley. How are you doing this morning?
I am doing well. It is the morning.
It is the mornings.
Yes, officially.
It is the Augusts. What's happening today? We're talking about Tim Biskup.
Yeah.
We've both known Tim for quite a long time.
I know.
When did you first meet Tim?
I first officially met Tim when we had our gallery called This Los Angeles. Oh, yeah. And it was actually kind of a cool story because we'd probably been a gallery for a year, maybe going on the third year. And so maybe somewhere in the year 2. And Justin, who was kind of the heart and soul of the gallery, he came into the gallery at one point and was like, dude, I just got off the phone or went over to Tim Biskup's studio and he wants to do a solo show at our space. And at that point, Tim had just maybe, I could be wrong on all these things, but he had just left, he was doing shows with really big galleries and on the West Side and, in like Culver City and right in LA and Fairfax and, like that whole kind of LA art hub space. Yeah. He was doing really big shows over there and he had been doing those. You guys actually didn't really get into it. He also used to put on these big art shows, I believe, like right when I moved to LA or maybe a little bit before, these big kind of community shows. Anyway, He was just known as like the guy, right? He was like the guy in that community making art, big galleries, all these kind of things. And then, yeah, Justin came in. I mean, like super excited, just like, dude, Tim Biskup wants to do a solo show here. And we're all like, yeah, okay. What does he need? We don't have anything. We can't offer anything, but we have walls and we, can do a shirt and we can do a tote bag and all those kind of things. And so the first time I actually met Tim was we went to his house / studio up in the hills. It's a beautiful house. And we shot, we were doing these artist visits videos at that time. And we shot one of those. So the first time that I met him was at his studio and it was Justin kind of interviewing him, talking about his process and me just being like, oh my God, I'm in Tim Biskup's studio and shooting videos and like his studio, just like Face Guts, his studio is completely just crazy. Like there's so much stuff everywhere and there's he's playing records and he was actually painting while we were there and he was working on stuff and just talking and I think you guys get into it in the video or in the interview about like you can tell he's spent like 100,000 hours painting or drawing or whatever, because when you're watching him do it, he doesn't make mistakes. He's just like, he knows what he's going to paint and he's painting it and the lines are perfect and the amount of paint on the brush is perfect and the like polka dots are perfect and you're just watching him and he's just talking and painting and he's making this beautiful, amazing big painting. And I was just blown away that first time. So then it went from that to then helping him. I really got to talk to him and hang out mostly when we were doing the install for that. And I shot some photos of him kind of finishing up some paintings and helped him install that show. And then since then, I mean, God, that was 14 years ago, 12, 14
Wow.
years.
Yeah.
So that's how I know Tim.
He's such an interesting person because I really do feel like he is that kind of like friend to everyone. Like everyone
Mm-hmm.
that meets him, becomes his friend. Like he
Yeah.
just sort of seems to be good at being everywhere, and everyone you talk to, like, oh yeah, I know Tim. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's very open, very very outgoing
He's
kind
a
of
great
person.
conversationalist. He's always got
But
something
it's
to talk
also
about.
yeah, I thought it was funny though too, just hearing him like in official interview mode, like oh he can be shy. I think I'm
Yeah.
so used to talking to him just sort of, at gallery spaces or working on projects and stuff on one, and it's so easygoing. I'm like, oh wait, no, now he knows he's being interviewed. Like,
Yeah.
I think we're still pretty good
Yeah.
at keeping it rolling, but it's a good chance for me. I feel like in like we've talked about before, like I never ask people personal questions. We were just hanging out, like, like where did you grow up? What did your mom and
Yeah.
dad do?
Tell me about your
What
parents.
yeah. And because then my wife will ask me like, so where did Tim go to school? Like, did he do this, did he do that? I'm like, I never ask
Yeah.
those. It's like those are like interview questions.
Yeah.
I never think to ask those kinds of things, but now it's the formal sweat setting. You get all the facts straight, all the biographical details are here in one place.
Yeah. And I mean, it was, I've actually interviewed Tim multiple times for different things. For the gallery that one time, and
Yeah.
then I did the video that was for the promotion for his book, The
Oh
Tree of
yeah.
Life. So
Yeah.
we did like, oh my god, I have hours of us just talking, or him talking, and then me kind of like, it was kind of his the history of him and his art, and the emotions that go along with all of that stuff, and then the emotions of him kind of uh releasing a book that was from beginning to whatever that time frame was. And so I have that, and then I interviewed him for the Big Butter stuff that
Oh
you
yeah.
were a part of, right?
Yep.
I have that footage of you guys playing at his house
Oh, how funny.
that day, with you and Devin, Tim and his brother,
Yeah.
and then so I did a video of that. So that was another like interview. So I think I've interviewed. I have so much video footage of Tim. Yeah, it's funny.
Awesome. Oh, it's funny. Tim just texted me right now.
Oh,
It's his ears
awesome.
must be burning.
That's amazing. He's like I hear you guys talking. Like, wait, how?
I'm monitoring the web. Um, yeah, yeah. No, it's so funny. Yeah, I mean, I talk about it in the interview, but yeah, I met him at that Altamar's parties
Yeah,
thing in England, and yeah, we just hit it off like a house on fire. And then when we moved up here, I think we bumped into each other somewhere and realized like oh we're neighbors or we're close enough.
yeah,
Like I didn't really know anybody that lived north of the 134. It
yep,
was a whole new wilderness
yeah,
of
totally.
hills and mountains here. And then yeah, then we went and saw the residents, and it's like, oh wow, this is cool. This is fun. A new creative buddy, and
That's
then just sort of
awesome.
just checking in, hanging out, and the kids, kids around similar ages and just similar interests and stuff in the gallery. So I'm always it was the thing too. Like I'll just get a text like, hey, we're jamming at the house, next weekend. I'm like, cool, I'll come
Yeah,
over.
yeah,
Let's go. Let's do it.
yeah. Because you end up playing. I mean, I've seen you play with Tim drumming. I don't know, 3, 4, 5 times,
Yeah, we've done it a bunch.
and
It's
it's
kind of just been a
always
loose, improvised sort of setup.
yeah, and it's always super fun. And I mean, I think Face Guts, or even at the Soundfield show, you guys
Yeah,
did like a night there too.
yeah,
And
yeah. No, I think he's just one of those creative people that I always feel comfortable and confident around. Like, oh yeah, well he'll figure out something to do. It'll be
yeah,
tasteful, like whether it's on the drums or kind of in like a looping sort of drum machine. Sort of,
yeah,
well, he has all those great teenage engineering little pocket calculator things, and
yeah.
has good taste
I was gonna
musically.
say I have one. I
Did
have
you got one
one.
of those teenage engineering
I have one
pocket
right here.
calculators? Oh my god, how is
Yeah,
it?
they're fun.
Do you have fun with it?
Yeah, but it's like it's just confusing enough that if I don't like to for how to like record and like re-loop things and like get the, because you have to push like 3 buttons to get the effects to go on track 3 to, whatever.
Yeah.
That if I
It's a
don't
whole other
use
kind
it,
of programming language.
yeah, it'll
Yeah.
take me a whole day to sit there and figure it out again, and then go, oh yeah, okay, I got it. And then if I put it away for a week, I completely forget how to use it again, and then I bring it back and go, oh god, I got to spend a whole day remembering this thing. I got to
I
get one
know.
of those expensive ones, the white one, the long white one.
Oh, the op amp one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's.
that
I was
has the
gonna say,
little
yeah, that's a
keyboard.
whole world in itself. I know
Yeah,
Espinoza was using those when we did some of the King Arthur stuff,
yeah,
and
yeah. It's a whole thing.
yeah, yeah. I feel like people, you really can just have a whole. There's just a lifetime catalog of music just
Yeah,
that can be made on one device.
totally.
They've it's the same company. They do the teenage
I
engineering
think
does
so.
both. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw they have. I follow them now, and this is a good promotion for teenage engineering.
Yeah, you
If
should get
don't know
them as a
go look it
sponsor.
up.
That'd
Yeah,
be a good one.
it'd be amazing. They have a what is it like a Middle Ages kind of like sampler, like a preloaded sampler with like lutes and harps and like middle aged, kind of drum. I don't even know, or like Renaissance kind of sounding music, or it sounds like Game of Thrones sort
Yeah.
of music thing, and it's got big like Chaucer Old English kind of letters on it.
Oh my God.
It's like the anti-modern, electric, sample machine. And it comes preloaded with all these things, so you can make like fifes and lutes and little like
Oh my God, really?
minor things. Yeah, it looked hilarious. I mean, it's one of those things like, is this a joke or is this real? And I was like, I think this is real. And all of their like videos around it are like people look like they're like at Ren Fair, like sitting under a tree, with like
I love it.
linens using this little like sampler, and all the music is made from these machines.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of perfect. It's the perfect. I think that the internet, which is, I feel like, is our is the it's just the human brain. It's just like all humans together who have been on the internet. This is now we now have one weird brain, and then you get to one little space in that brain every once in a while, and most of it is like normal-ish. It's like, okay, day-to-day stuff, like here's Facebook, here's what's going on in my community today, and then every once in a while you get Ren Fair beats, and you go, oh yeah, that's like the weird part of our brain. That's the part
I didn't have that on the bingo board.
Yeah,
is this what's going to happen?
That's the part of the brain that most people just don't talk about. Like, what do you usually think about? Nothing.
No.
Nothing.
Well,
anything weird? No,
definitely not.
I never have
normal.
I never have weird thoughts. I never have.
These are very normal thoughts I'm going on here. Only normal, boring thoughts.
Yeah. I
only do not wish to have a sampler that could sample music from a past that didn't exist.
Yeah, Viking Beats. I do not own that. I do not own that Instagram handle of Viking Beats, where I make beats with only the sounds of swords clanging together.
Yes, yeah, I think that's exactly what this is. I mean, maybe it'll spurn a whole genre. I mean, I guess that's kind of what I was getting at, is like the idea that instruments can, be the spark or the inspiration for a whole world, or for a whole band, or for a whole genre of music,
Totally.
Obviously, people could speak more elegantly about it than I can, but just, like drum machines, like the 808, obviously, this like classic sort of 70s, 80s, drum machine that went from, like Kraftwerk to hip hop to electronic music to pop music to everything music. But like the evolution of that, like, and sparked off of, one machine.
Yeah.
Or a series of machines, or one company, or just, what I mean, whatever their intent was for it is almost irrelevant to then what was it then made from it.
Yeah.
It's like, you put out these tools, these production tools, and the whole thing, and it feels like that even, like guitar pedals, or with, recording things, or certain kinds of effects, and you just realize, oh, okay, that's just gonna be this like virus amongst culture that'll can be used for good or bad, depending on the intent and talent and creativity of the artist.
Especially the flanger. Oh my God.
Why do I always think of the flange? It always comes back to the flanger.
It always comes back to the flange, because it's such a specific sound. But I think that it was just like, oh my God, it's so cheesy. and it's this weird like kind of 70s or I don't even know, early 80s maybe, I don't know. And then it was like no one uses a flanger, and then all of a sudden Kurt Cobain, Nirvana,
Oh,
he
okay. You're
pulls
putting
like
it to there.
he
I
pulls a
see. Yeah.
flanger out in the 90s, and everyone goes, "Wait, we can use a flanger? Can we
Fuck
use a
yeah,
flanger
bro.
now?" Like I only use the flanger by myself in my room because it sounds sick, but I would never ever let anybody know that I use a flanger
Oh, that's
for
hilarious.
anything. And then all of a sudden the 90s come out, and
You
gets
get a knock on the door.
world gets,
Son, are you flanging in there?
Are you flanging?
Are
No,
you
no, no, no,
flanging?
no.
I thought I told you no flanging.
Put
in
the
this
tape
house.
on the flanger.
Yeah.
That says distortion, Dad. That says distortion.
Oh,
That
it
is
sounded
not
like
a flanger.
flanging was going on
No,
here.
no, 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 no.
You
I would never flange, Dad. I would never
if you
flange.
flange too much, it'll make you go blind.
Yeah.
You can grow hair on
Don't
your
flange
hands.
me, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I feel like there's a Hyphenate halftime T-shirt in there
Yes.
somewhere, or at least a sticker. You're the
Don't flange me, bro. I
yeah,
can do that.
you're the sticker man. Don't flange me, bro. Are you flanging right now? Is that you flanging?
Did I interrupt you flanging? Did I catch you flanging?
Or like a little note, like a school note, like do you flange? Yes or no?
I like the flange. Flanging's not a crime, like the old
Flange.
skateboarding stickers. Flanging's not a crime.
Flanging is not a crime. I love it.
I think there we go. We play off the skateboarding,
Yes.
guitar. There we go. That's a perfect
Yes.
sweet spot. Flanging is not a crime. It's one of those things. It's such a strong flavor of an effect
Yeah.
that it really can just take over everything. You know, I think you could talk about them as analogous to tools or spices or colors or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
I mean, most guitar effects you want to hear them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The idea of a subtle effect is almost an oxymoron. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's real transparent. Like you can barely hear it. You're like, why the fuck am I paying $300 for it?
Get it out of there, bro.
Yeah, but then there's the thing too of like, oh, but you don't want the overkill effect.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tough one, man. I've definitely, I feel like I've reached a certain milestone in guitar pedaling, and to the point of like I've got to that place where like it doesn't matter. I don't care. Yeah, I've come all the way through the wormhole now of like all the effects, and they're just like, oh right, it's in your fingers, man. The tone's in your fingers.
It's all in your fingers, man.
Doesn't matter what guitar you have. Doesn't matter what amp. Doesn't matter what effects you have.
Yeah.
Like this, the best thing is the sound that's in your head.
Yeah, and a wah pedal.
Of course, well, yeah, and a chorus, flanger,
and a chorus flanger wah pedal.
The Boss multi-effect pedal from 1993.
Oh my God!
Everything in it.
What's that green one? What's the green pedal that has
Line 6?
The Line 6. I have one of those.
Yeah, the boomerang Line 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all good.
Evan Weiss. Do you know Evan Weiss?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Evan Weiss.
The Wires on Fire.
He unloaded the Line 6 on me years ago. It's like you should borrow this, and I'm like, and now I'm like, oh, he just unloaded it on.
Does
me.
anybody actually buy those? Yeah, because that's how I got mine. It was a buddy who was moving and leaving. He's moving out. And he's like, hey, do you want this?
No, this thing's awesome, man.
You should take this. So I'm like, okay. Do I need it? It's really big, and it takes a weird power supply. It's not like any of the other power supplies. Like, oh, you'd like it. It's classic. Everybody has one of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's amazing, man.
Yeah. I have an interview with a gentleman who's an engineer at Line 6.
Oh, really?
I think we talk about this. Yeah, I think it's coming up, Ben. I'm trying to think if we talk about that. I think that was before his time. He's a more recent engineer. Worked on the amp modeling stuff that they came up with. Yeah. So it's wild. Just that whole world. I mean, I keep staring over here off to the side. I'm looking at all these pedals. I think it was really only through like the abundance of pedals that one realizes you do not need all the pedals.
Yes,
they're really, it's a very Buddhist kind of thing. It's like,
but you also cannot get rid of any pedals just in case.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah,
you might need it. You might need that one.
Because what's a pedal?
Unlocks everything.
What's a pedal wall without every pedal? It is not a wall anymore. It is just a pedal. You have spaces for people to enter, and therefore it is not a wall.
Right. Well, I think it's like a library. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like even if you've read the book, do you need to get rid of the book? You know what I mean? Some people would say yes. but otherwise, but it's also a collection. It's a accumulation of knowledge. And like, and somebody will ask about it. I think I've gotten really good at loaning pedals to friends. Like, oh yeah, hey, do you have anything I could use? It's kind of like this, and I go into the research library, I go through the pedal wall. Oh yeah, totally. I'm looking something like you think of like an overdrive, or a fuzz, like what a silicone, like a silicone or germanium, like, I don't know what that is. Like, oh well, hey, you got to try this now. Here we go. Now that I've accumulated whatever useless bits of knowledge, I can then pass them on. I feel like that's the fun side I'm having on it. Like become the educator.
That's
so
amazing.
I just keep all this knowledge to myself. Share it with the kids.
Yeah. Well, and that is, it brings up a good point, because like the reason for a bookshelf is to show people where you stand
things
in as far as knowledge or creativity is concerned. It has nothing to do with actually reading the books. So you buy books, like especially as like someone who buys art books every once in a while.
Oh God, yeah.
Not really a reason to buy an art book. You're not you're not like using it for research necessarily. You're going to look through it and be like, "Oh my God," every once in a while, but really you want it up there to be like, I have the whole collection of, my whoever
I know things.
Wolfgang Tillmans. I got all my Wolfgang Tillmans books.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like, "Ooh, Wolfgang Tillmans. Okay, that says a lot about you." All right, we can talk about such and such. I feel like a pedal wall is kind of the same thing. Like as a guitarist, someone walks in and goes, "Oh wow, huh? What's that on the? Where'd you get that one? Oh well, that's from. So do you know the guy, the German circuitry guy, who? But he actually lives in Sweden now. But he's from Argentina. And he took apart the such and such pedal, and they're like, "Okay, I do know about that guy, but I've never seen that one." And you're like, "Have you ever used it?" No.
Pedals.
I never use it. It sounds terrible. That's the worst pedal. That's the worst pedal that's ever.
But it's the version before the one that was really good.
Yeah.
So it's important to know where it sits in the lineage of the good pedals. Yeah. Like everyone knows him for the good pedal that he did. Yeah. But what about the 10 bad pedals he did?
This one was the step right before he figured out the circuitry.
I have some of those.
Yeah. See, I know
I got a few of those.
Yeah. Some people are pedal people like that, and then other people would be like amp people. You just tend to be all of them. You're like, you got the amps, the guitars, and the pedals.
Well, that's the beauty of being a guitarist, is you get to be an asshole about so many particular things. You're like, it's not just the one thing. It's not just the one guitar or the one amp or the one pedal.
This one sounds the exact same, but it has the red knobs though. That's red knobs.
Very important. Red knobs are very important. And
totally different. If you know anything about circuitry, which you probably don't, but that's okay, because most people don't.
Yeah, actually, and I don't either, really. I only know these 2 words that I learned to talk about this pedal. Yeah.
I just know more than almost everyone else, but still, I have so much to learn.
it's once you get into Bucket Brigade, then you're in trouble. When somebody starts talking about the Bucket Brigade chip, then
do not know anything about that.
You have thousands of dollars suddenly disappearing from your pockets once you give a shit about anything called Bucket Brigade or.
And the best thing is at that level, anybody who's played in a band for long enough their ears are shot anyway, so you can't even hear. You're like, if my ears weren't completely shot, I would be able to tell the difference between all 4 of these amps. But right now, I just hear a mild hum at all times, and then there's some guitar in the background somewhere. Even this. God, yeah. Oh, so anyway, I think last week we were talking about shows. I don't know, punk shows. So I was in town
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I was in town last week in LA, and I went to see our friend's son's band.
Oh, cool!
They've been on tour all summer.
Yeah,
called One Way Mirror, and they played at this place downtown called the 1720 Warehouse.
No idea.
I guess a lot of time they do like electronic music and stuff, but
that's fun.
It was massive. It was like this. I walk in. It's on like 17th, like off Santa Fe, kind of. It's kind of down there, just off by the freeway down there.
But kind of artsy, that art district.
Yeah, like the lower end of the arts district.
Gotcha.
And then, and all ages, but they had like a couple bars in there. And then it was like 5 hardcore bands, like a band from Texas, and then a couple other ones, and I don't remember any of their names.
Yeah.
And then there were 700 people there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was packed.
Amazing.
And guess what? Everybody looked very cool, hardcore, whatever. Everyone was nice.
Oh my God.
Every single person. The kids were nice. The parents of the bands were there sometimes, and then one of the bands was like big in the 2000s, so they were like our age. Everyone was like super positive, still like kicking each other in the head in the pit and all that kind of stuff, jumping off and whatever. But
Yeah.
it made me really think. I'm like, this next generation is full of pretty nice people. Very nice people, not pretty. Very nice
They're going to
people.
be okay. Yeah.
It was weird.
Wow.
I mean, it was like the small, like the smell vibe,
That's
but
big,
with
though,
like
700 people. Yeah.
but like 3 times as big and like hard, like more hardcore punk, whatever. But anyway,
Yeah.
super fun.
Oh, I found it. 1720.
Yeah, 1720 warehouse.
.la. 1720.la is the
Yeah.
website. There you go.
And but yeah, sounded great there, everything. And it was fun to go and then see like all these bands are like, oh, there still are live bands and there's still a lot of people going out to watch them. Like these shows are huge.
That's
It's cool.
insane.
Yeah,
How
it's
fun. Yeah, what's the lineup look like? You got Goat Horror. You know them.
Okay.
And then 200 Stab Wounds.
Okay.
Can't miss that.
Do they have the do they have the show
Tisoki?
from last week?
No, I think it's all just coming up.
Okay.
What else we got here? Orbit Culture, Minority Unit. That looks like something. The Hope Conspiracy, Peeling Flesh. That's gonna be good. Brad Stank. Everybody loves Brad Stank. You can't miss him. Dystopia. I mean, they're doing like gutter punk shows. Wow, that's gonna be insane. Mest. Don't know what that is. So it looks like Orange County. Autopsy. Butcher Babies. He is Legend.
It kind of sounds like you're going through your list of potential band names that you talked about last week.
Yeah, Nun Slaughter, House of Protection, Dome of Doom, Decide, Guttalax. This is good. Diamond Saints, YVM3, EPROM. Yeah, I love all of this. Self Deception. All right, wow. Well, okay.
Yeah, it was fun.
It just shows. Yeah,
it was great. A ton of energy, and the kids are all right.
you just came here to report the kids are going to be just fine.
Yeah, and I want to say probably the bar was not making very much money, even though there were a lot of people there that were of drinking age. Like almost nobody was drinking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, it was a lot of younger people, but
yeah, well, they figured it out. They're providing a service for the community.
Yeah, it started at 6:00, or no, the first band was on at 7. And there were already like 300 people there at 7 to watch the band.
Wow. I wonder, somebody's got it figured out.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like the website looks legit.
Yeah. No, it was like a super pro place. I'm trying to think of what it would have been like. I don't know. Yeah, because it wasn't like an official bar. It's just a venue. But
yeah,
warehouse space.
Oh, let's see. What do you got? They do have an archive. What was the show you went to?
Let's
Protest the Hero.
It would have been on August 3rd. No. August 11th. August 10th.
August 10th. A Widow Dusk in loving memory.
Yes.
Ulth Ghost Spirit.
Yep.
There we go. Wow. What was your friend's band's name?
One Way Mirror.
One Way Mirror.
Are they not on there? I
don't see them on there. No.
They might have gotten added on for because they were on tour with that Widow Dusk band. But I guess that Widow Dusk band is from. I didn't stay long enough because I'm old and I had to drive home.
Of course, yeah.
But they're from Victorville.
Oh my God!
And they've gotten they're like 19, 20-year-olds, and they've gotten really big in that hardcore scene. nationally, and now they're doing very well.
Oh, good for them! Isn't that great?
It's
I'm so
good.
happy for them. That's so good.
Like those young kids in their bands.
Were
Their
there a lot of
bands
black
playing
t-shirts?
instruments. We're not playing electronic DJ music over here. This is hardcore.
Oh my god! The venue seems to have a bunch of electronic stuff though too, so that's kind of
Yeah,
fun.
I think so.
People don't care. I imagine the younger people don't care.
No.
There's probably not that thing of like this is better than this or this is different than this. I imagine
Totally.
kids would go to raves or go to a DJ thing and then go to a metal show.
Yeah,
seems to all just be the same.
Whatever's fun, man. Whatever floats your boat.
Collapsing-
You know what?
Collapsing of culture. It's copies of copies of copies of
Yeah.
things, right? And just sort of live in that sort of
We just
like,
want to be around people.
choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Just want to be
I know
around
that-
people, have some fun, hang out.
All I want to do
Just
have
have some
some
fun. Little
fun.
Sheryl Crow here and there. Throw it in there. Throw it in the mix.
Could there be a Sheryl Crow death metal band?
That's-
death metal band
yeah.
that just Sheryl Crow covers.
Yeah, that's
Is
the
that
part
too
of the
ironic? Is that so 90s?
that's the part of the 90s no one talks about. When everyone's like the 90s, everyone just thinks like grunge and
Pavement.
early hip hop. They're
Yeah,
like, no. There was also Jewel and Sheryl
Yeah.
Crow and Blues
Oh
Traveler.
god, yeah.
Everyone.
Tori Amos.
Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah. I mean, there's like the Lilith Fair. There's a whole
Ooh,
other kind
yeah.
of world. I feel like that's having a comeback.
I feel like it could. It probably
Right?
is, and we just don't. We're not on the algorithm, so we don't see anything about it.
I think it's huge. I think Sarah McLachlan is doing better than ever.
Really?
Yes,
That
I
makes
think
sense.
so. Yeah. I mean, I would have
She
to
was always a
imagine.
positive force.
Oh my god. Yeah. right?
I back Sarah McLachlan.
Of an angel. I
All
just feel
right.
sad about the dogs. Like I feel like dogs are
Yeah.
dying whenever I
Oh,
hear
right.
Sarah McLachlan. I'm like, oh no!
She really
Please,
went down
somebody
that
save
path,
these
huh?
dogs! Save these dogs, please!
She found it. She found that extra revenue stream, saving the dogs.
Oh my god!
I'm a dog
bet she-
saver. Her new hit.
That sounds like a British like garage. So, I'm a
Yeah.
dog saver.
I'm
I'm
a
a
dog-
dog saver. I'm a dog saver. I'm not Darth Vader because I'm a dog saver.
I don't choose a flanger.
Don't use the
I'm a-
flanger.
I'm a
Dog
dog
saver.
saver.
Save the dogs. Save the dogs.
Oh my god!
Okay, no,
If
it's not
anyone wants to
crime.
make that song,
Yes.
make
you
sure
got-
Randy gets points on that. But go
you
for
can
it.
make the check out to Randy Randall.
Yes.
I'm a dog saver. New remix by Melissa Etheridge. There we go. It's done. There we go. Those are all the parts you need.
Yeah.
Loop that. Put me over it. We're done.
Yeah. We're good.
Put
They
on
already have
DistroKid.
the recording.
Yeah, make sure you go to distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate and upload your I'm a Dog Saver mix and send us the link.
Yeah.
Let us
And
know
then
how it works.
and then whoever has the best song will all vote on it, and you'll get a do you flange,
You
bro?
get a sticker.
T-shirt.
Yeah, flanging is out of crime, bro. It's a sticker.
Do you even flange, bro?
Yeah. Maybe we could have the flange, the flange, like comp, like the best. We'll make a playlist.
Yes.
I was gonna say you would do like a comp CD in the back, but I guess now
Yeah.
it's just a playlist. The playlist of flange.
Yeah. Randy will remix your song with all flange.
Yes, or replace all the parts with just flanged,
Yeah.
flange parts.
Totally. Sorry, my cat is being crazy. If he's
Oh, good. It's flange.
decided to
Flange the cat.
he was trying to bite the microphone stand earlier, and now he's rubbing up against the computer.
Oh my god.
for no
Needs
reason.
to get out of here.
The door's open. He
Um,
can go outside.
No, he wants to be right there on top of you. Yeah. Well, Tim Biskup. It was fun talking. Fun talking, Tim.
Yeah. I mean, it was awesome too because there were so many things that I didn't even know, like all the Malibu stuff.
Oh yeah. Right.
I mean, maybe we talked about it, but that was kind of a surprise, which is cool. So listen in to the Tim Biskup episode for all things Malibu.
yeah. I know. Well, it's a funny one. Yeah, I feel like it's like he's probably had like 5 or 6 different lives. Like we all have.
Totally.
You know what I mean? You get lucky enough to live long enough to to be part of one thing after another, and I don't know. I've been impressed with especially in the art world where it just feels like your story could be written for you. From success to failure, and then that's it.
Yeah.
It's like okay, you had your moment, and I feel like Tim's had several moments.
Yeah.
He's been good about kind of reinventing himself and kind of keeping it DIY and not really stopping. And then, like you said, you talked about like kind of like West Side art galleries, sort of art with capital A.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that that's a whole other kind of world, almost like a not unlike a major label world, where it's like you have all the options to succeed, but the second you're seen as not succeeding, then you should just go ahead and crawl under a rock and kill yourself,
Yeah.
because there's no point. You've devalued, and even if you're still doing well comparatively to anyone else doing it, it's like the only space in that larger sort of major label big gallery world is for rising stars and millionaires and soon to be millionaires.
Yeah.
Anybody who's has the slightest decline, it just sort of seems like
Well, and there's rules.
there's no space.
You find out that there's all these unspoken rules to those games, and the people that do the best have talent, but they also know what those rules are and play by the rules. Figure it out. And then unfortunately, I think with creative people, the reason people get to where they're at is because they don't play by the rules. And then you get to a certain point where you're like, there's rules. Okay.
even when you're not playing by them,
Do
you're
I
still
want to
there.
play by these rules? I mean, that's a lot of other people. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
myself because I never figured out the rules. So I was like, I don't know. This seems like there's rules to this thing, but I cannot figure them out for the life of me. But no, but a lot of other people, you see them get to this point and then just stop, and they're like, oh, what happened? Like, oh, you didn't know the rules, or you didn't want to. Like, the rules get crazier and crazier as people get up that high, and you see the people that just go, yep, I'm going to figure out the rules and I'm just going to do it, and they can do well, but it comes with a price.
But at what cost? I was just gonna say, yeah, you lose your mind, or
you might
it's like
be
whatever your vision
you
might
might be
have.
painting the same face in a different in some different colors for the rest of your life, and that's what you now signed up for. I don't know.
Well, the general idea in that gallery world is that you are a rising artist, and a bigger gallery takes a chance on you,
Yeah.
and you sell out really well, and everything's to the right people, the right collectors buy everything, and then you have to then now do that ad infinitum for the next 50 years. Continue to make pieces that those same collectors will continue to buy, and then those collectors who in 5 to 10 years will begin selling off their pieces to the next tier of collectors.
Yeah.
And then the hopes that as you continue to create new pieces, that the original run holds its value, if not increases in value, while you're able to, and then you can sell to other levels of collectors, and sort of the trickle down sort of thing of it. And then the big guys have all gotten out or saved or held onto theirs, and it's just an investment. It just keeps going up.
Yeah, you're kind. I mean, if you're in that world where you're only just selling personal work to collectors and you're not doing like big public commissions or something like that, then you really are you're building wealth for people.
Right.
And
that's your main job. It's like a corporate kind of thing. Like your stock is rising in value for the stockholders.
Yeah, because you're not. I mean, you can always choose to just make art for yourself, right? Like, and that holds intrinsic value for you. But like a piece of art has no intrinsic value.
Right.
It's not like a car that can get you from place to place or anything. It's like it's a thing that's valuable because people have decided that they want it. And I think that's a really hard world to be in, because as many of the rules as there are, or I guess that's why there kind of has to be rules, because if not, then art's worth nothing, because it's not about, you know what I mean? Like, it is if someone really likes it,
Sure.
But then the reason someone the reason it becomes popular is because so many people like it, but kind of because so many people like it is because certain people like it, and then you build a brand.
A certain tier of collector needs to stamp your art as being valuable because they will buy it at whatever
rough.
it is.
It's like a rough world, and I've never been in it personally, like with my work, but watching other people who are growing and and having to navigate these little like streams of like, well, I have to make sure I only sell it to certain people, because I know that if we sell it to this person likes to resell things, and I can't.
Mhm.
We have to make sure our collectors don't resell things for a certain number of years, because
Right.
if everybody decides to dump their stuff at the same time at auction,
Like stocks. Yeah. Once there's a run on a stock,
yeah,
it
like you
sells,
said,
or
like
you're dumping it.
you
Yeah.
all of a sudden, and you have no control as the artist has no control over that. You want to
And
have
it's,
control over it.
yeah.
You want to, but it's kind of like I don't want to say it's a strong arming thing, but it is a little bit.
Oh, of
It's
course.
like,
Yeah.
well, if you're known as as someone who's a reseller, we can't sell it to you. But then those resellers who are smart, smart, I don't know, smart, sketchy, smart, whatever, business people, they go, oh yeah, great. So they find someone else to buy it, and then that person sells it to them for a cost, and then they go and resell it. So it's like, it's such a weird. I've only been
Yeah.
like partial to a little bit of that,
And it's
hearing
and
those
that's sort of
stories
the
from
job.
people.
That's the job of the gallerist, is to sort of
Oh
protect
yeah,
the artist from the wrong buyers, to make sure only the right buyers buy
100%,
from them.
to get like a really good client list, and also, to get those lists that go, those clients that will hold on to it a little bit and then donate it to LACMA or donate it to a thing, and then you become a part of the. It's very like, it's weird. The art part is one
Hmm.
thing, the
Right.
business part, because there's not all like crazy rules, because it really, like, once you get to the top, I mean, you're talking about people who are buying things and just have storage upon storage upon storage upon storage,
Yeah.
where all this amazing art is, and then they have whole staff to loan things out, sign, like, get tax write-offs for like
Yeah.
depreciation values. It's like
It's a
they
form of
own.
money laundering slash corporate shell game sort of valuations and holdings. It becomes more
Yeah,
governmental and
yeah.
economic. Yeah.
I imagine like collecting, but it's weird. You could say it's like collecting cars or something, but it's not really, because
Hmm. It's like buying stocks. It's literally buying a stock of a company. You go, they're doing well,
yeah,
or they're doing bad, but I know they're going to weather it out and it's going to come back. Or there's certain things that are
yeah,
just stalwarts. They're always going to be great, and even if it's bad, it's going to be good.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
It's a
no,
weird one.
but
It's
but
tough.
as an artist, it's yourself. Like, you don't think of yourself as creating stocks. You don't think of yourself as creating
No,
value for the wealthy. But
I
and
mean,
so
some people might.
yeah, yeah,
Some people might. But what I was
yeah.
going to say, I think and I think Tim and I had discussions about the weirdness of the height that he has gotten to at times in his career, that he's always figured out how to like go. I mean, he said it in the interview a couple times, like how to get to a certain position where he feels comfortable with his work and what he's doing, and also making money and finding those little paths, but not going like, yeah, but I don't like whatever those rules are in that on this part. I don't like those rules, so I'm not going that way. And he's always been really amazing about keeping his integrity and making the work he always wants to make, regardless of the fact of people going, "Oh, this is too ornamental," or this isn't heady enough. This isn't like,
It's
you know what I mean?
ornamental. I'm a dog saver. It's a bit ornamental.
Ornamental, saver. I use a flanger. I use a flanger.
Spanja. Sorry.
But he's always been great about, and Big Butter. You hear that, and
Yeah.
we're like, yeah, it's weird. Like, it's so weird and cool, and holds its own space in music and goes along with other bands. But him and his brother just make weird music, and he
Yeah.
does all the artwork for it, and they press it themselves, or they get a little label or whatever. But he's always been able to navigate that space, stay relevant, keep making amazing things, becoming part of new projects with, like, I think that stuff he's doing with Brain Dead is amazing.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
And
What is
he's
it?
always, he's feel like he did a bunch of stuff with FEF Fest back in the day,
Oh,
and
right.
then
Yeah.
probably I imagine he's done things with Coachella. He's just always been a part of things and
Yeah.
figured out a way to
A
do it
cultural
and still
conversation.
stay happy with himself and not feel like he's like, okay, I'm going to make 150 drawings for these people that they want, he's just not that guy. So
Yeah.
it's always been amazing to see, like, what are you up to? And then he's got a whole, well, I'm going to Japan and I did a whole show at Basel that was it all dogs? I think he, like 4 years ago. I could be making this
I
up.
don't even know.
So
Yeah.
please tell. This is where I start making things
He
up.
did
But
the
I
Dog Saber
feel
show.
like he did a whole show about dogs. There was just drawings of dogs. I don't know.
Sounds good.
Please,
I believe it.
if I also could be making that up. So that's disclaimer. My brain is using a flanger right now. My brain is on flange.
I love it. We should start passing back and forth like stories. Like,
Yeah.
hey, did you know Tim has this winged suit that he's been jumping off of like very small cliffs with, and it's part of the. I think it's art, but I think it's also just like his like need to fly. He's like has this whole wing.
And he makes his own whistles. Did you know that?
Have you don't have one of Tim's whistles?
You haven't heard of Tim whistle?
Like, yeah, you got to get one of those. Like, yeah,
I do. I do have to say, I have one of his,
Yeah.
his little dinosaur toys.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen those?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, he gave me one of those years ago. I think when he did one of the interviews, and now it's like sitting up on my desk in my art room, and all the kids. Like I've had a couple kids draw it and stuff. So I've just.
I probably have more Tim Biskup artwork in the house than any other artist.
It's amazing.
Just because he's always been so generous with it, and it's also just one of those fun things, and it's great, and the kids like playing with all the toys and all the different stuff, and it's so fun to look at. It's one of those things you're just like, oh yeah, this is great. Someone's going to give me a colorful piece of art for the house. Hell yeah. I'll put this up there, and it's in that way, like living with art. Like the job of art is to sort of just brighten your day and make you smile to some degree of that type of art. But I have several pieces that I just look at and go, hey, I like that. That's fun.
It's awesome.
That makes me smile.
It.
The whimsy one's riled. Okay, you got to get out of here.
Yeah, I got to go.
We got I don't know who's coming up this week. I got to pick out who's going to come out this week. Maybe
I know you have some good ones.
Got some Line 6 people. Yeah, we got some stuff on the table. Well, anyway, we'll find out Thursday when the episode goes out.
Cool.
Thank you, Aaron. It's a pleasure to see you.
Yeah, you too.
I'm glad everything's going well. Yeah, we can discuss school and more stuff next week.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll have some stories.
Perfect. All right.
All right.
Right. You have stories, and I'll write 90s, or early aughts British garage.
Flange based, please.
The flange bass.
A flange bass. I got a flange bass. It's on my bass. I got a flanger. Flanger.